If you don't mind, would you mind telling me the story about what you've been through?
From the age of 16, I was laxative dependent. In 2013, February, I became increasingly unwell, realising that I hadn't actually been to the toilet since round about Christmas time of 2012. Nothing unusual for me. My general motion would have been about every 3 to 4 weeks. My colour was changing, my family were noticing I wasn't very well. And unfortunately, I ended up in A&E, and that was just the start of an extremely long journey. It turns out I got a diagnosis of severe colonic inertia, which is just really severe constipation. My large colon had completely died. There was no motion, there was nothing at all working the nerves in the large bowel.
How did that affect your work?
It's affected every aspect, and work obviously being one of them. Work were really understanding. It did affect it. I had an awful lot of time off work. At one period, I was off for 2 years. Obviously, moving forward now, I've got a fantastic career. Everything happens for a reason. And I am able to work and live a relatively normal, work-life balance now. But at the time, it was extremely difficult, to not be in work and mix in with my work friends and my colleagues was not only financially hard, it was psychologically really damaging because I became in my own, medical world.
And how did your family take it? Did they even know what stoma was or what?
No, absolutely not. In fact, I'm the first person that we know of, in the family circle to having any kind of stoma. At the time, there was family issues going on as well. So for my first initial operation, when I had my bag, I didn't have the full support of all my family at that time, which was extremely difficult. But my husband, my children obviously had a really hard time because mummy was always in hospital, mummy was always ill. They weren't allowed in intensive care. Mummy couldn't get out of bed then when she was at home for weeks and weeks on end. They did see some horrific things, especially having the bag when it was first fitted.
So, Michelle, I know that you love traveling. I know that you love going to Spain. So how did having the stoma affect the whole traveling thing?
So I was a bit naughty and got into trouble a couple of times with the medical professions looking after me. For example, after one of my operations, I was jumping and backflipping off a boat in Tunisia several weeks after having surgery. Unfortunately for me, I'm prone to severe hernias, parastomal hernias, and this hasn't been helped by my level of activities and holidays. Outside of operations and being ill. But for me, I try not to live my life any different. I made it a point of grieving before I had the surgery. I dealt with it. I didn't have much time to think about the surgery when I was having the bag fitted, which was obviously my second operation. Afterwards, I was just adamant, and still to this day, I'm always adamant that I will live my life to the full.
It's amazing to hear that you have that philosophy to live to the full, and I see that you look amazing. So
Thank you.
Are you doing some sort of exercise?
So I think for me, just walks. I get out in the woods, I go for long walks in the countryside, I take my dogs, try and be as active as I can with the children because it's important to me that I spend that time with them when I am well and when I'm recovered. I want to be out there and just making up for the lost time. I probably don't do as much exercise. It's not the stoma that stops me, it's just me being lazy.
Does anyone know what you've been through? Have you told anyone about this?
People know that Michelle's been ill, Mary's daughter's been in hospital, or Morgan or Mikey's mum's been in hospital. But in regards to the actual type of surgery I've had, for me personally, it's not something that I put out there. I do try and help people who might be going through something similar, or any bowel problems and things like that, or people, go, oh, I haven't been to the toilet for 3 days. And I go, oh, I know how that feels. It's been my personal choice not to kind of push the bag onto anybody, divulge it. I mean, to this day, my husband's never seen my stoma, which people are really surprised about. But for me, he's seen the bag, he's been there, he's cleaned up, he's changed bed sheets, he's done everything. But it's just something really personal to me. And I just think it's really important that you deal with your own journey in your own way. And for me, that's just been, I don't want to be judged. My house is full of medical supplies. We had to have adaptations put into the house for me after surgeries. So there has been changes that have been unavoidable and people knowing things going on. But just for me personally, only close friends and family really know. It's the hernias that stop me more than anything. And I'm more conscious of them because they stick out. So, people might notice a bulge. And I'm sure they've got questions, but for me, it's just not something that I like to bring up and discuss or push on to anybody. That's just for me and a personal journey.
Yeah, of course. Since you had the operation, have you changed the way that you dress? Are you more maybe conscious of what clothing you choose when you go out?
So for me, I now tend to get more drawn into more the high-waisted fashion. So something that would naturally go over the top of the area. I mean, luckily, something that people without a stoma might not know is when you're just about to go for your operation, you have a nurse sit with you and draw a dot on where you want your stoma. And that's so important because everybody's got a different comfort zone. Everyone's got a tire in a different place. Everybody's, if you've had cesareans or you've had more surgery. So for me, I got to choose a comfortable area of where my stoma and my bag would sit. So I have adapted, but there's some amazing fashion out there now. Bikinis were in fashion, swimming costumes are now in fashion, and they're fortunately the type that are pulled in the right places. So you can create illusions, and nobody really, with the development of these bags, Confidence B bags, for example, there's no issues at all with wearing colour match, black bag with black jeans. Nobody would know. So it is just about adapting. Yes, it's part of your life. You go to the toilet different. The fashion, wear something baggy. There's so many choices out there.
I know that for work you travel quite a bit by train. Has having the stoma affected you in any way?
With my job, office-based, and obviously travelling all over the country on a train, you can imagine train situations, very cramped, very busy. I am checking passengers' tickets. I am up close in person. If I need to take their information, I could potentially be leaning over another passenger to get information. In those environments, I have to be as confident as I can be and prepared, spare bags. And I do wear a lot of supports. For me, what I do is I wear my bags on the side. So if it does fill, you don't see a bulge down.
Well, that's a good idea.
It will, yeah, I always wear my bags on the side, so it just might look like I've got a bit more of a roll than I have. So it's little things like that. It's just about adapting for me, for my work environment.
The busy lifestyle that you are leading, I'm guessing that it's really convenient for you to get your stoma supplies delivered. You are currently using the Medilink home delivery service, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
So how come did you decide to move over to Medilink, or how did you decide to sign up for that service?
Medilink came recommended to me by my stoma nurse. Just before surgery, I was with a different delivery company. And not long after I actually came home with the ileostomy, I discovered quite quickly just how fantastic the service was at Medilink. I know the girls by first name. The fact that you're getting the same person on the end of the phone every time you call. There's a small group of ladies, and their support to me and advice has just been just life-saving at times. I know that sounds like an exaggeration, but they have answered all my questions, any concerns that I've had. They've helped me with product searches because of having the hernias, and I've had like 3 different stomas now. So each time, slightly different one, worked slightly different, depends on where I am with my health. And they've always provided me with the right bag, they've always provided me with the right product, just down to even the little things like travel bags, I didn't even know something like that was out there. So they've just always been fantastic, and I've been with them now literally since 2013 and not looked back.
Oh, that's great to hear. And have you ever used the Medilink nursing service? You know that they have a community nursing service and they can actually go to your home address. And
absolutely, yeah. Again, that's one of the reasons. In fact, the nurse called Debbie, who's been to my house on more than one occasion. In fact, after most surgeries, she has come and done a home visit to measure my stoma for new products, to have a little look if I've got concerns. There was at one time I was having an allergic reaction. We didn't quite know to what, whether it was barriers, sprays, bag, and she quickly figured out what was going on and adjusted my order for me. And even down to measurements and things like that, they're really on the ball.
So you mentioned that Debbie helped you to measure your stoma.
Yeah.
Did you use the Medilink cutting service to get the pouches cut?
Yeah, absolutely. So my bags come ready cut, so I know I can grab that bag, pop it in my handbag, and I'm straight out the front door, no worries at all.
Have you ever used the Medilink travel certificate?
This was the information they offered me. The girls in the office, and I told them I was going away. They were fantastic. They provided me with a travel bag, a travel certificate, and also advised me to contact the airline to let them know and to add on my extra medical allowance, which I wouldn't have known about.
So, Michelle, I know that you said before that you don't really tell everyone that you have stoma. So I'm guessing that you really appreciate the fact that Medilink delivers everything in a really discreet boxes.
We live on a proximity. Our houses are close together. I love it. I know when they come. My family know when they come because they will shout, "Mum, bags are here," because we know what box they come in. It's a plain cardboard box. It could be an online clothing order. Nobody would ever know, and that's really important to me.
So I've been working now for Medilink for over a year and a half, and literally as I started, we went through the process of rebranding Medilink. You were part of that rebrand.
Yeah.
What we found in the research is that there wasn't enough information on returning to work. What advice would you give them?
Obviously, everybody's journey is completely different. Everybody's circumstance is completely different. And I know that a lot of it will come down to support network, but the help is out there. Don't let it affect you mentally. It's not the end of the world. You have to be positive. Your bag is there to save your life, to improve your life. If you remember that, be prepared, give yourself time to heal mentally, physically, understand it will leak, be open with your work, talk to them, tell them exactly what's going on. I was really lucky. I had a really fantastic boss in the job that I was in, and I made sure I always went everywhere with a spare change of clothes, at least 2 or 3 bags, and everything else. Prepare. Preparation is key. Every day, just become stronger. Find something fun to do. Go back to doing what you enjoyed doing before you were poorly, because you have to have an end goal. Book a holiday. That's what I do. Book holidays.
Go to Spain.
Absolutely, go to Spain. Everybody should just go to Spain, be happy, and just enjoy life. Remember, there's always somebody worse. That is what I tell myself. And every journey is different and individual to each person. I totally understand that, but embrace life, enjoy life, take all the help and support that you get offered, and just take one day at a time, but you will get there. And if you're mentally stronger, I believe you will get there a lot quicker.